Don Moody here of handymanreality.com. I'm here with a Moen Manor, is the model, a faucet, a vanity faucet. And the replacement cartridge is a 1225b, which if you're the original owner of a Moen faucet, Moen will send to you for free. As you can see, this one has got quite a drip, sort of thing. Sometimes you can turn it to one side or the other and stop it, sort of thing, while you wait for your new cartridge. So let me show you how to take this faucet apart. First I'll set my phone on my trusty dusty tripod. And we will take this puppy apart. Okay, so you're going to need a Allen key, and unfortunately the size is rubbed off on my tool, and I usually use a blade to pop off this little cover, and sometimes my fingernail. And as you can see, it has a little tab that goes in there to make sure that it goes onto it correctly. That hides the Allen screw. And sometimes it's a little tight. This one's not too bad. You will, I recommend you plug the sink, or at least throw a rag over the drain, so that you do not drop this screw down the drain. It's just good practice whenever working on a faucet to cover up the drain so you cannot lose the screws. Sometimes these faucet handles can be a real bugger to pull off. It depends on the situation. That one slides off nicely. There's no corrosion on here, so it will work out pretty good for me. I'm going to take a Phillips screw to remove the screw from the top of the cartridge. Don't ask me why I'm wearing my mask, I just get used to it. So the screw comes out. Now here's the tricky part, or one of the tricky parts, especially when you put it back on. You lift this, you tilt it, because there is a tab on the back of this that fits into a slot on here, just as this drops onto the cartridge, and the screw goes down through there into the cartridge. So now that we have that out, this one pops off. This usually unscrews by hand. So it's just a threaded piece. That one just slides out. And now here's where it gets interesting. There's a piece, and you can see that little divot right back there. Out slides a clip, and that clip actually holds the cartridge in, sort of thing. Now you can actually just pull that off, and then in the center here is the cartridge. When the new one goes in, you're going to want to make sure that you can slide the clip easily past, because the clip goes right across, right around the sides of this, and pokes out through the bottom, through the bottom here. So the clip needs to go past the plastic on either side, sort of thing. So the plastic needs to go in straight. But anyways, usually if there's a problem, you can take a screwdriver and give it a little tweak one way or another, just pushing it. Let's continue here. Now, very often I find a little tool that I got from Home Depot of all places. It's a cartridge remover sort of thing, and it's even got tongues that go around with that plastic that we were just talking about. So this screws into the top of the cartridge, just like the cartridge screw did. And of course it didn't do it for me that time. Sometimes it pays to pull it up. And you want to screw it in. Darn, how did that do that to me again? I think along the way when I bought this from Home Depot, I actually replaced the screw with my own similar that fits a Moen. It's the same thread as the Moen faucet sort of thing. So this will screw into that cartridge. Not today. Not today, it says. Oh, by the way, there's this little ring. I recommend you take that off. And let me try this one more freaking time. You can see it going down as I unscrew that. And now, there. Of course, you could try giving it a pull. Oh, look at that one, came right out. Or what you do is you spin this nut until it seats down on the brass down below, and then you take a big crescent wrench and you just keep turning the nut. I think this one will keep going until it hits more brass, and you just keep turning that nut. And it will pull your cartridge out for you. Trust me, sometimes the 1225b is challenging to get out. So now I'm just doing this more for demonstration purposes than anything. And you'll keep screwing and turning this nut. It'll surprise the heck out of you how much you turn it until you get to the bottom. Along the way, if you wanted to, you could give the T-handle a pull and see if it comes out. But essentially, you just keep turning, and it will slowly pull out that cartridge until you can just do so, like so. So you don't need this to put the new cartridge back in. You can actually just push it in. One little thing I forgot to mention was it's a good idea to figure out where that little tab was before you take the cartridge out, and to take any dog hairs off. Normally, I believe the tab faces downwards, and then you just, like I said, you want to push this down so that the clip is going to be able to slide past the plastic sort of thing. Sometimes I'll even take my screwdriver to get it pushed all the way down. And when it's pushed in, the drip stops. So putting it all back together is just sort of a backwards now. I slipped the clip in, but I'm going to take it back out because it actually needs to go through this piece, which the gray piece screws onto. So I slipped the clip in just so that I can test it and make sure that I've got the cartridge in the right position. Then I slide this in, down, and I find my slot. until the clip goes completely in. And let's see. The gray one goes first. Whoops. Pardon me. I forgot about this goofy thing. It's got that little thing and divot in the back there. And then the gray one. And the gray one you're going to want to crank down. Just hand tight. And that should bring this down to just above there, sort of thing. So you'll just make sure it's nice and hand tight. And then this piece, the opening goes to the top, and that is so that you can get at that slot we talked about that this little tab needs to fit into. So into the slot, and then you just sort of wiggle the white piece around till it's on. Oh, before you do that, flip on this little metal divider or washer onto the end of the cartridge. I'm not exactly sure of its use in this case, but it is part of the pieces, so put it in place. The Phillips screw goes back in. All right. I'm going to turn the water fully back on. Sometimes I'll actually convince them to let me fix these valves as well. I want to check the hot. So I want to turn the handle to the left to make sure that the cartridge is in correctly. And of course, older house, I need to let the water run for a while to make sure that the hot is on the left and the cold is on the right. And of course, that everything stops the way it's supposed to stop. Now, plug my sink again, because again, I do not want to lose this screw. Because getting another one is very challenging. And that screw is going to end up going right through there, sort of thing. And into the backside of this. I have run into the situation where sometimes this can be corroded. And it can be a real bugger to get the handle off. But with patience, and a little bit of prying, pressure, a lot of times you can just get it off. So your screw goes back in with your Allen key. This is the same Allen key that gets used on almost every Moen faucet. I just, unfortunately, I'm sorry, I apologize, do not recall the size of it. And I don't have anything handy to measure it. It's not going to measure easily with a measuring tape, so we'll just move on with our lives. Does that sound cool by you? So I really like myself. I like Moen faucets because of the single cartridge, the anti-scalding. Where the little plastic piece goes, it was kind of dirty there. So I do not like to put things back together kind of dirty. I like to clean them up a bit. So this one will pop back in there, and voila, we have our faucet drip on the Moen 4-inch center Manor model faucet. Thank you very much. This has been Don Moody of handymanreality.com, and maybe condo renew, I don't know, COVID might have killed that company. But the Moen Manor takes a 1225b cartridge. A lot of times you can disassemble the faucet, take the part out, and you can walk into a Home Depot, into the plumbing department. You can let them know you bought the faucet. If you have a receipt, take it with you, sort of thing. But Otherwise, you go in and ask that you would like to access the warranty. You give them your old 1225b, and they will supply you with a warranty replacement. So this has been Don Moody of handymanreality.com and the Moen Manor faucet drip repair. Bye-bye now.